What's going on, people? T-Folks, a.k.a. Johnny Quantum in the building, people. Yes, you know how we do it. Oh, man, I've been on the road, been traveling. You know how I do. Get on the road. But I was at an event, and I got a chance to do some commentating at an event in South Carolina. Much love to the people of South Carolina. I miss y'all weather right now. I got 2.5 feet of snow here where I'm at. Boy, let me tell you, I can't wait to get back to South Carolina and some of that Southern hospitality. Let me tell you, good stuff. But the event was down there, did some commentating at Rock the Bells 4, presented by Stokes Promotions. Now, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to that whole entire team by far. Of course, Andrew Stokes, he's the founder, also co-owner, Jared Pridgeon. Got to give him a shout out. The rest of the team, I mean, they did an amazing job. I got a chance to see it when it was literally a blank canvas. And then I got a chance to see it when it had 12 to 1,300 people in it. And I'm going to tell you what, that transformation went from literally just a concrete floor to an amazing, well put together, well thought out production. Top notch, people. It was my first event live. I've watched a lot of Stokes Promotions events on pay-per-view. He's been doing it for a long time. But to be there live, to feel that energy, that rush. And like I said, I got to do some commentating. So I had one of the best seats in the house. I was right on top of the ring, basically. So it was amazing. Now, some of the stuff that they do is a lot different. I've been to a lot of events all over the country. They're VIP, but then they have like a super VIP. And I'm talking about steaks, crab legs, premium liquor, wait staff. Now, mind you, waiter service at a fight, and you're not in Vegas. Where are you going to get that? I've been all over the country. If anybody can tell me where they can go to a fight outside of Vegas or outside of like Atlantic City or one of the major fighting hubs and actually have VIP and have a waitress or waiter come over and give you service. Didn't think so, people. Doesn't exist. Doesn't happen. So, I mean, catered desserts. Here's the plus. He had to get special permission from the mayor, or the governor, actually, I do apologize, from the governor to put this event on. Now, everybody was checked at the door. All temperatures were checked. Everybody mandated had to be wearing a mask. Everyone. Extra officials were brought in. Extra physicians were brought in. So you want to talk about really making sure that the fighters were okay and taken care of, making sure that the general public was okay and taken care of. I gotta say, I haven't seen anything like it, especially when you start talking about being in a pandemic right now. A lot of places are shutting down. South Carolina is putting on some of the best fights in the country right now, people. Stokes Promotions, you know what I'm saying? Andrew Stokes, Garrett Pridgeon, they're getting it down there. I mean, they're getting it big time. You definitely need to check them out. If you get a chance to get to South Carolina, you definitely got to go check them out live. If you can't, get them on pay-per-view, but you got to be watching that. That they put on some great fights. I couldn't believe it. The sponsors were there in attendance. As a matter of fact, now what promotion? Now, I've been a lot of places, people. What promotion gives their sponsors title belts? Custom-made belts just for that business with their logos on it and the whole nine for being one of the top sponsors. Again, I'll wait. Anybody can try to tell me or where that happens at. Didn't think so. Because there's nobody else doing it. Stokes Promotions, again, they take it above and beyond. And my guest this evening is none other than Andrew Stokes. So, I just kind of wanted to talk about the event really quick from an outsider's point of view, because of the simple fact that I've never been to a show live. I've watched them. But to be there ringside, to see what was going on, and wow, I mean, I'm impressed. I can't wait to talk to this man because basically he's got the secret sauce, people. I mean, y'all need to pick this man's brain. He really knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a very, very long time. Boxing, MMA, Muay Thai. Look here, man. Check out the show. But without further ado, now you can check out the man himself. Andrew Stokes.
Travis, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, look. Look. I want to get in the ride and come back down right now. I mean, I'm in 2.5 feet of snow right now. I would love to be back down there, and I can't wait for your next event. Like, I really can't wait. So let's talk about it. I mean, from an owner's perspective, what were your thoughts on the event?
I thought it was a great event, man. I think we put, the team, not just myself. Keep in mind, man, this was a team effort. I think the team did a great job in bringing this promotion together and bringing this event together and giving people another great night of entertainment, man.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Quite a few knockouts. I was like, wow, this might be the fastest fight card I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they were getting it. People were throwing leather. That's what people come to see, and it was packed. It was packed in there, man. So I got to give you a lot of props on having a very safe and fun event. I do thank you.
Thank you, Travis. We appreciate you being in attendance, man, and just telling stuff like you saw it, As a promoter, you never really want to brag on yourself or brag on, what you do as a promotion. You leave that stuff for other people to do. But, again, thank you for coming. Thank you for, speaking on what you saw, what you witnessed. And I really look forward to having you down again, man. Thank you.
Oh, so like I said, I can't wait till you have another event. I might even be back down there before you have another event if it keeps snowing the way it's snowing up here. Let me tell you. Now, there were a lot of great fighters on that card. There were a lot of up and coming fighters that you've got signed that I noticed to Stokes Promotions that fought on the show. Could you let the viewing audience know who they are?
Yeah, we had quite a few fighters that Stokes Promotion had signed, man. They did an excellent job, man, on Saturday night. Pridgeon Starling is one that stands out as his first fight, and it was very impactful. He did a great job. He ended up stopping this guy and doing a big backflip in the ring that really excited the crowd. And then we had DeAndre Walker and Javius Jones. Both of them moved to 4-0 that night. Both of them had great fights. Javius fought a tough 11-fight veteran out of the Ohio area, and man, he just, he was up for the task, and he just did a great job. So I was really proud of him. And then we had another young kid, man, that just turned pro, 18 years old, Christy Peterson. He got a little winded in there, but it was his first fight. Now he knows what it's about, and I think he'll come back a lot better prepared next time. So overall, man, we were very happy with the event. There were a couple of disappointments, but that's boxing, man.
That is true. That is true. I mean, any given punch. And trust me, like I said, there were some knockouts that night, Saturday night, and there was a lot of. I was impressed by the body work that was done. I mean, there was some nice liver punches thrown in those fights that ended fights. Guys literally could not get up. I mean, for those of you who've never been hit with a liver punch or have never seen someone get hit in the liver, your body is normal for a couple seconds, and then it just instantly shuts down on you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Legs go, knees bend, you drop to the floor, and trying to get up, your brain thinks you can get up. And your body's like, I'm staying right here, like it or not. So I was rather impressed with the body work that was done by a lot of the fighters on that card. Again, that shows the level of technique that these guys have. Again, I can't wait to watch them fight again. Now, you mentioned some of the fighters, and like you said, you mentioned disappointment there. main event, Jalen Pridgeon didn't come up on the W end of that stick. Packed house, everybody was there waiting for that fight. You know, first and foremost, it's his first loss. I mean, I know how I was when I took my first loss, and I didn't take it well. I mean, you know, so I could just imagine. How's he doing?
Jalen's doing great, man. I mean, he took the loss very well. You know, it was funny. I went back to the locker room afterward, you know, to see him, check on him, of course, make sure everything was fine. And our conversation was very interesting, man. I mean, this guy never ceases to amaze me. I went back and he was sitting down, you know, taking his hand wraps off and, you know, getting undressed. And I was like, Jalen, are you all right? Is everything good? And he looks up at me and he said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. He smiles at me, said, why is everybody looking so gloom? And I'm like, man, you know, you lost, so everybody's feeling bad right now. So, you know, he's like, listen, he said, we're in the entertainment business, right? And I was like, yeah, that we are in the entertainment business. He said, was the crowd entertained tonight? I said, they were absolutely entertained tonight. You know, win, lose, or draw. The crowd was entertained. He said, well, we did our jobs. Book the next fight. He didn't have any excuses, man, and that's just who he is. We went out to dinner the next night, and he's in great spirits, man. That's all I can say, man. He's in great spirits. And,
nice.
You know, lost like a man, and he's ready to move on, you know.
Nice, very nice. Because I know very young in his career, you know, so I had to ask because basically, you know, sky's the limit for that young man. I mean, he literally does what he does. Again, all it takes is one shot. All it takes is one night. But it seems like he's got the right mindset, and he's definitely got a good group and a good camp around him to keep him focused and ready to get back in there and do his thing again. But I got to ask, though, being the promoter of the show, how are you dealing with it?
I'm fine, man. Listen, my interest as a promoter is twofold. Of course, you know, you want to look out for your fighters and you want your fighters to win, but the reality is sometimes fighters lose. But then we also have an ultimate obligation to please the crowd. You know, they're at the end of the day, they're the ones that pay the bills. They're the ones that make sure the fighters get paid. So you have to put on entertaining fights. You know what I mean? And sometimes that comes with risk. Any fighter can lose at any time. If you want to keep your promotion running, you have to put on entertaining events. That event was entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, 1,000+ people don't come out to these shows over and over again because they're not entertaining. So it's a tough balance because of course you want to see your fighters win, but you want to put them in competitive fights too because you have to please the patrons. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah.
You just hope that you know the fighters are prepared and they come in and they give their best effort, and hopefully if they're your fighters, they come out on top. You know, shout out to Marcus Washington. He was very prepared that night and he went home with a victory. And I was proud of him as well. I thought he beat a great fighter in Jalen Pridgeon. And no doubt that we'll see him again. But until that time, man, we'll lick our wounds. And so it's bittersweet, man. We had a great event. I think the crowd was pleased. We had a fighter that took a loss. And listen, man, we get up, get back on the horse, and ride out.
Well, I mean, literally, you know, you learn, and for those of you who are in competitive sports, you'll understand this. You learn more from a loss than you do from any win. Bottom line, because at the end of the day, you know you've got things to work on. If you win too often and you win too much, you might start to drink the Kool-Aid. Then crazy things can happen, and bouncing back is even harder. But he's got the right people around him. I got a chance to meet them, so I'm speaking from experience. He'll be fine. He is a very, very well-rounded, just mannered young man. I know for a fact I can't wait to see him again back in the ring soon, hopefully. Just saying, being a fan. Now, Andrew, I know you don't like talking about your own promotion. We've had this discussion, but how do you feel about these other promotions? Like what the Southpaw promotions and Vegas Grand, and even the great Christy Martin doing promotions, and also James Toney doing promotions. They've done shows. They're doing shows in South Carolina. Like, do you have? Competing with these shows. Like, what are your feelings about that?
I'm not competing with them. This is not my state. All those promoters are welcome to come here to South Carolina and do shows and promote events. That's good for the fighters. No one promoter can promote all the fighters in this area. It just can't happen. And if there was competition is good. All right. You can't become a great promoter if there's nothing to compare your promotion to. All right. So let's clear up the nonsense about this is Andrew State and he promotes here and he don't want any other promoters here. That's nonsense, man. There's room for all of us. I'm always respectful when I schedule shows to make sure I'm not scheduling shows that are too close to other promoters or within a certain time period. But that's me. And I don't expect every other promoter to do what I do. Listen, man, these shows are tough to put on. They're expensive. If you're a promoter in this state or any other state for that matter that's putting on boxing shows, you're being put through the ringer every event, man. You have to have a certain level of respect for those guys because they're pulling the shows off. They're not just scheduling the shows.
Right.
That's the thing I have a problem with. I have a problem with promoters scheduling shows and not following through with the shows. That gives all of us a bad name. Or you schedule a show and you're putting on a really subpar event. I think most of the promoters that you just mentioned, they go above and beyond to the best of their ability to put on good events. And sometimes you just have a bad event also. And we're talking about with the fighters. Fights that you expect to go the distance, 4, 6, 8, 10 or 12 rounds, end up going around and to some people that might be a disappointment, but that's boxing.
Yeah.
That's boxing. And but like I said, we have an obligation to the fans to put on good quality events. If somebody comes to my event and they see a terrible show, no competitive boxing matches, they don't just say Stokes Promotions, man. They group all of us in together. They group all the boxing from now. We're not going to boxing in South Carolina. Or we're not going to any more boxing in Columbia. They put on bum shows. They don't specify the promoters. They group all of us together. Oh man, those promoters don't know what they're doing in this. So yeah, in that sense, I'm protective about, about my promotion and make sure that I'm not the one that people identify with as putting on bad shows or bad events. And so I think, listen, man, each promoter has their own objective. I don't know what those objectives are for those. I don't talk to those promoters that much to know what their objectives are. And sometimes that determines the level of event that they put on or the type of event that they put on. Something I think I invest a lot of money in our events for what some people might call frivolous stuff. But we want to create an atmosphere that's kind of like what you said in the beginning, man. If you're not in Vegas, at least you feel like you're there. This is the next best thing, So we want to create that ambiance. We want to make it. We don't want people to come there and the only thing that they remember are the boxing matches. We want them to remember everything about the events. We want them to talk about the VIP area and the super VIP area. We want them to talk about how professional the people were that greeted them at the door and the people that were seating them and the security there and how safe it was and all the precautions. Those are the things that we want people to talk about. Those are the things that keep people coming back over and over again. Listen, man, I'm happy and I'm humbled, man, to have a run this long. Man, I'm going on my 21st year,
Wow.
in this thing. And to have a run like that, I think is great. Now, I didn't do it by myself, man. Not one of the 21 years did I do any of this by myself. We had a great team. I brought people on, and other people have gone away. Garrett just came on as my partner, and I can't express, what he brings to the table as far as our promotion is concerned. I mean, we don't have enough time in this podcast, but this guy goes above and beyond, and it's a difficult thing for him because his son's a fighter. His son's one of the main fighters in our promotion, so he's always balancing things, and his son losing affected him in a different way than it affected me. I look at things differently. My son's not boxing, but as far as the promotion concerned, man, we have a great team. I'm happy. Diana and Kenrick and man, I could go George. I can't name it. We had 33 people actively working, 36 people actively working that event, and that's not including officials and the extra doctors and the mask monitors that we hired to make sure people kept their masks on. It's not including the wait staff. Besides that, man, we had 36 people, excuse me. I keep saying 33, but 36 people actively working at that event to make sure that we followed all those rules and regulations that were in place by the Commerce Department to even hold an event of that size. And I think we were very successful.
Oh,
question you asked me, man. I just started talking. I'm sorry.
No, but look, I was there. Andrew. I got a chance to see it live and direct. Again, it was an honor to be a part of it, and I thank you for having me there to do some commentating. Like I said, I can't wait to get back. Now, people, I'm gonna tell you, I got a chance to watch Garrick do his thing. That man is a machine. Seriously, he is a machine, and I've seen it. So I mean, he's on the phone, he's texting, he's calling, he's emailing, he's Facebooking, all at the same time, mind you, while he's eating. I watched it happen on multiple occasions. This man's taking a bite of food. He's doing this. He's cutting this. He's sending this. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you, Andrew. That man does take it above and beyond, and how he does it with having a son who is a boxer for the promotion. That right there is look. That's its own show. That literally is its own show, which I will have to delve into at another time. But also to ask, and again, I know certain topics you don't like to talk about per se, but I know there's other notable fighters, especially undefeated fighters in the Carolinas. You know what I mean? And basically you've got, if I'm not mistaken, it's Michael Williams Jr. and LaVonte Earley. What are your thoughts on those two fighters and their success? And, I hear a lot of talk, about these guys, being an outsider looking in. So I'm not in South Carolina, so I get a chance to hear about the Carolinas. You know how we Northerners like to group stuff. So we just grouping it all in the Carolinas. But yeah, what are your thoughts on those fighters and seeing that they're there?
Yeah, LaVonda Earley does a great job at promoting her son, man. There's very few people that I've seen over the years that does what she does as far as promoting her son, LaVonte. But LaVonte lives up to the hype. I don't think he's hype. I've seen this kid progress from his first fight to where he is now, and I'm continually impressed. He goes and gets to work, and he comes back and he performs. You can't hate on that.
No,
you can't hate on that, man. You really can't. Michael Williams Jr. I've seen him progress from his first fight to where he is now, and I don't know if there's a harder working fighter in the Carolinas besides Jalen. I'm gonna be a little biased here, but let me tell you something, man. These kids put in the work, and it's no accident that they're undefeated. I don't care what anybody says about the competition they fought and all the things that people say about undefeated fighters in the South. The fights should be easy. The hard work is done in the gym. And I can't say that I see from these guys a lax moment when it comes to them training and preparing for fights. And they're reaping the benefits of that. All right. That's not saying anything negative about any other fight. We got a lot of great fighters in here that have taken losses. Jalen's one of them. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention DeAndre. He's a 20-0 fighter right here in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
That doesn't get the recognition that he deserves a lot of time. He hasn't fought in a while, but fight after fight keeps getting canceled or pushed back. Just the politics of boxing when you're 20-0, man, is just a lot of people don't understand it. You won't understand until you get there. I'd also like to say about Earley and Williams Jr., man, is that they're two of the most respectful guys that I've ever met, man. LaVonte, every time I see him, man, he talks to me, he greets me, and it's sincere. It's not bullshit. He is really, I mean, when we say a gentleman, he's a gentleman, man. A lot of stuff that goes on between the camps is not the fighters, bro.
No. And
fighters got a different type of respect for other fighters, and you will very seldom see them, saying negative stuff about other fighters or talking about other fighters or wishing bad stuff happened to other fighters, and it just doesn't happen. But more importantly, it doesn't happen with those two guys. It doesn't happen with Jalen, DeAndre, and some of these guys, because they know what it takes to get where they are. They understand it. They understand the sacrifice. They understand how dangerous it is to get in that ring, and those guys have a mutual respect for each other. And I think deep down inside, all of them want to see each other be successful. A lot of people like to compare. But listen, I don't think any of these guys are fighting in the same weight class. If I'm not mistaken, I think one's at 40, 47, and 35, and they might be bouncing back and forth. But these guys are on different career paths. And I don't think it's fair to always compare them. I don't think it's fair to compare them at all. I think they all have a common interest at hand, and that's, being that fighter that stands out in the Carolinas. And I think they're all doing a great job at that. If they weren't, we wouldn't be talking about them. So that's my thought on them.
Very true.
I like that.
Very true. I mean, all talented. I was honored to have DeAndre sit at the table and interview him during one of the fights or in between the fights. Got a chance to really chit chat with him and kind of pick his brain. He is ready to go. I mean, he really wants to punch somebody really, really bad. So
he has a chance to put his full display, he hasn't had a chance to really display all of his talents yet. He is so much more than everybody is seeing, man. And we saw glimpses of it when listen, DeAndre's been in tough fights. I remember his second or third fight when we were down in Mississippi, Louisiana. I can't remember. And we were fighting some Golden Gloves, a regional champ down there, man, that was probably 20 pounds heavier than DeAndre when we got in the ring. And let me tell you, man, he had to suck it up to get through that fight. We're talking about I think that was his second or maybe third fight. And then, back here in Columbia, we brought in 20, 30 fight veteran to fight him. This guy was over 100 and some amateur fights and fought in the national, fought everywhere, man. And let me tell you, DeAndre dug down deep, man. He had to dig down deep to come out with a victory. It wasn't a fluke win. We beat this guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's been through some things that I know is going to help propel him to the next level. And I can't wait to see him fight on the next level.
Oh, I don't think anybody who's seen him fight can wait, and I know he can't wait because he told me himself he can't wait. That again, that was, yeah, that those, it'll be, there's a lot of hidden gems in the Carolinas right now, and boxing is really in for a treat when everything starts to open back up. I think you could be sitting on a hot spot there, Drew.
Yeah, and we're talking about them, man. But don't forget, man, really take a look at DeAndre Walker and take a look at Javius Jones, and Tezwan Starling. You gotta really take a look at those guys, man.
Yeah.
They're not far behind if they're not already there.
No,
these guys are serious, man. There's a lot of hype about those other guys that we just mentioned, but brother, wait till you see what's coming, man. Wait till you see what's coming. And if it wasn't for this pandemic, people would have already seen. We had some stuff planned, man. We had 9 shows scheduled for this year.
I know you were rolling. You were rolling.
So we were getting ready to get busy, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. COVID hit. I'm glad we were able to get 2 events off this year. When we scheduled this one, the numbers were really, really going down, and we thought, by this time that the numbers would be really, really low, and then they started to elevate it. So there was also, we were battling, man. We were battling about whether we wanted to be responsible, man. So we were battling about whether we should postpone this event because of the rise in the numbers. And ultimately, man, it came down to our fans. And then when we made a decision to go ahead with it, we said we're going to put every protocol in place that we can to make sure that this event is as safe as it can be. So I was happy with that.
Oh, they did an amazing job. The team did an amazing job. Again, periodic mask checks. The announcer making sure doing their part. The people who walked around to check people, they were wearing their masks. You couldn't ask for a safer environment with such a good time and people getting up and dancing and the DJ playing some old school, new school. It was a flat out good time. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been to a fight that was that entertaining. Not only the fights, but just the atmosphere itself was just amazing. But I just got a couple of more questions for you because I don't want to keep you too long because I know you are a very busy man. I've watched you be on phone too. Go back to back, 3 calls, 2 calls, flipping, texting, emailing. So I don't want to keep you too long. But we spoke earlier about fighters and having fathers who are attached to them and fighting and how that kind of plays into it all. And then we also talked about how camps can kind of get in there and kind of say things that the fighters aren't saying. Now, there were some things going on, some rumblings in social media. And I was wondering if you could shed some light on that.
What were the rumblings? What rumblings are you talking about?
Well, there was a post that was posted on social media, basically talking, kind of celebrating the law.
The Michael Williams Sr.?
Yes.
Oh, so what's your question? What?
Well, how is you being a promoter? Because I mean, again, you have a vested interest because again, you have these fighters and they're signed to your card. Fathers have vested interest because their sons are fighters. But what's your take on that? Because like you spoke on before, these young kids are basically very respectful young men, but sometimes camps can say some things, do some things that can kind of shed a different light on some stuff. And basically being a promoter, that kind of puts you kind of in the middle of things. Or how do you feel about the camp saying one thing and celebrating a loss and, in a fight that they didn't even take part in?
Yeah, Michael Williams Sr. is a grown man. And I think some of the comments that First of all, um, and I want to be respectful when I say this because my son's not fighting. So those guys are passionate about their sons and their sons fighting, and they'll defend them to all in, and they should, and they should. Um, as adults, we still have to be responsible in the things that we say and the things that we do. It's not a question about whether you're right or wrong. People will judge you on that. Michael Williams Sr. He's entitled to say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and however he wants. I think he's a great promoter of his son. A lot of people say he has a big mouth, he does this and all that other stuff. I think just the opposite. I think he's doing the things that he should do to promote his son. He believes in his son. Garrett Pridgeon believes in his son. It's a hurtful thing when your son loses. In this sport, a loss can happen at any time. So we have to be respectful of those fighters, even when we're not respectful for some of the other team members, or we don't have much respect or much care for any of the other team members. I think us as adults have a responsibility to be respectful to the fighters. That's my thought on it. I don't think I wouldn't have made a post like that, but I'm not Michael Williams Sr. And my son is not fighting. I don't know what he was feeling in that moment. I don't know why he posted that.
Well, I
had there was stuff that happened before, and that might have been a reaction to stuff that happened before. Comments that Garrett made that he wasn't happy with, and he decided to, respond to it now. It's part of the business, man. I think. Listen, I'm thick-skinned. I think Garrett's thick-skinned. I think his son's thick-skinned, and I'm pretty sure Michael Williams Jr. Sr. is thick-skinned. So say what you say and let the chips fall where they may. I'm cool with it, man. But again, I got to stay in my place on this one because my son's not fighting, and those guys are passionate about their sons.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I respect that.
Oh, you have to. You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, again, you being a promoter, you have a vested interest, but like you said, your son isn't in there. He's not fighting. You see what I'm saying? And that's a completely different level to it. So I had to ask that question because we kind of spoke about, teams and individuals and how fathers are there so close to the action, so close, so passionate about their sons. So I kind of had to bring that up because basically, you know how social media is. You know what I mean? People will say stuff, they will do stuff. So I had to kind of throw that out there, and you answered that so majestically. I gotta say that mentality is why your shows are so good. That mentality is why everyone wants to fight on your fight cards.
Yeah, Michael Williams Jr. He has a lot of fans. Jalen Pridgeon has a lot of fans. What happens one day when these guys are in the same place or the same venue or fighting on the same event and both of their, fans don't forget those comments, man. Fans don't forget stuff that was said. Fans don't forget but not fans, but we can't forget how some people might react to those comments when they get in the presence of those other fighters. At the end of the day, man, we always got to protect the safety of these fighters. It's the innocent bystanders that always get hurt in this type of stuff. We can be competitive without being disrespectful to each other.
True. Very true.
Keep winning. People will recognize it.
Yeah.
People will judge you for what you're doing. We see you. Of course we see you. You see us. Keep fighting. Let that kid's actions speak for himself, man. He don't need Michael Williams Jr. He does a good job of making sure that his fans support him. He puts on every time he goes out.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Earley puts on every time he goes out. Jalen puts on every time he goes out. Win, lose, or draw. There'll still be 1,200, 1,300 people in the arena on the next fight. They're supporting him. You know? He went out on his feet. He didn't get knocked out. He got knocked out, got up.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
I have a lot of respect for that, man. I have a lot of respect for that. A weaker fighter would have folded.
Yeah. Definitely would have folded. That's a fact.
We got to be more responsible, man, especially as promoters, man. But again, my son's not fighting. Those guys have a different passion than I do because their sons are fighting. So I can only speak so much about that.
No, but I mean, you bring up very valid points, and that's another reason why. I mean, you've been in this game for a long time, Andrew. Long time. You've outlasted probably, if not all the promoters in your region. You've been around that long. So I kind of had to bring that up. And again, that shed a lot of light. I'm sure a lot of the listeners are appreciative of you shedding some light on that, because I'm sure they saw it and was like, what in the world's going on? So I do appreciate that. And like I said, I didn't want to keep you too long. But I got one more thing to ask you. Of course, it's about your promotion. I know you don't like to talk about your promotion. Yeah, I got to ask you, what's next? What is next for Stokes Promotions?
Listen, man, we have a show scheduled for February. And we have 7 dates for next year. Again, I think we got to be responsible right now, or at least my company has to be responsible for whatever we schedule based on, these numbers and how this pandemic is going. We're getting ready to go through Christmas and New Year's, and a lot of people are going to be spending a lot of time with family, probably against, a lot of other people's wishes. And we don't know how these numbers are going to go. So in the next week or so, man, we'll announce the dates but whatever we do, we're going to be responsible and a lot more responsible in our decision this time as far as when our next event is. So just stay tuned, and we'll let everybody know.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking time out of your very busy day. Again, people, I've watched this man work. He does not stop. It makes sense why he would have a partner, co-owner in Garrett Pridgeon, because they're the same person. They literally do not stop. They live it, breathe it, eat it, sleep it. I've watched it, people, live and direct. No joke. It is a marvel to see these two men at work, and that was an honor and a blessing to be a part of that show. Hopefully, I can have you on again. Maybe I can have the two of you on next time, and you can talk about the next show or the next couple of dates you got going on, and break that to the general public if you don't mind.
Absolutely, man. Just let me know. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate this forum. I don't like doing interviews, but I definitely enjoyed this one. Thank you.
Oh, well, greatly appreciated. That's why when I was like, wait, my guest is Andrew Stokes. Wait a minute. You don't get in front of the camera like that, man. So I am honored. I am honored that you chose the Johnny Quantum Show to do this and to kind of speak about your show, because you should. I understand you're a very humble man, one of the many great qualities that you have. But I mean, the world needs to know what's going on in South Carolina. So I definitely thank you. Is there any shout outs? Where can people find you? How can they get in touch with this last couple of minutes?
Our Facebook page, Andrew Stokes Promotions, man. Stokes Promotions LLC at Gmail if you want to email us. You can find us on Instagram, and we're not hard. Everybody in the United States has my phone number, so I'm not hard to get in touch with. basically social media page is the best way, man. We always respond to messages. We always answer them. It's a form that worked very well for us, and we really like it. But just people know how to get in touch with us, man.
All right. Well,
shout out to everyone on our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them, man. We sincerely, man. We have 47 VIP tables and sponsorship tables at that event. You know, those guys make the event. That's why I say it's very important, man. It's extremely important that you put on good entertaining events because they're the ones that pay the bills. And I humbly thank them with all I have, man, with my heart and soul. We really appreciate you and really appreciate your support for all these years. Thank you.
Well, I speaking on that, I got to ask you this question then. Whose idea was it to get them their own sponsorship title belts? Because that was classic, by the way. And they were stunned. They were stunned to be brought into the ring and given belts.
Man, we sat down and just had a discussion. It was coming up something that we could do, man, and just said, man, let's give them title belts. Let's do some custom title belts and give to them because they're champions too, man. You're talking about people that are spending $20,000 a year on our promotion. That's a small token of our appreciation. We can't thank them enough. But it's something that's special. It's something that means something. It's something that they can put on their mantle. Other people can see, and we just didn't want to do anything that would be considered cheap and cliche. So we thought that would be really special, and I think they really appreciated it.
That was special. Again, I've been a lot of places, Andrew. I've never seen anything like that. You may have started a trend. You may have started something. Because I know I looked at those sponsors. I watched them when they got out of that ring, and while they were still serving, because the night was still going and the final fight was coming, their swag was a little different. The way they was moving was a little different. You know what I'm saying? That belt was over the shoulder. It was around their waist. You know what I'm saying? They felt that championship love. Literally, man, that was different. So I had to ask you about that. I can't wait. I can't wait to see another event. I can't wait to get back down there. But again, I want to appreciate you for being on the show. You are always welcome on the show. Anybody on the team, you just let me know. We'll get them on the show. Not a problem, man. Y'all are a class act, and that's what we're about. We're promoting and having class acts on the show.
Thanks,
that
man.
You do. So you have a great evening. Again, thank you so much, and I cannot wait to talk to you again soon.
You too. Thank you.
All right. All right, everybody. That was Andrew Stokes. Rock the Bells 4. It's a wrap. I'm going to tell you what. I haven't had that much fun at an event in a long time. Like I said, unless you were in Vegas, unless you've been to fights in Vegas or back in California when it was like really the heyday of combat sports, have I ever seen anything like what they put together in South Carolina. And South Carolina is not known as a big fight state, people. It's not. And I'm going to tell you what, Stokes Promotions, putting that on the map. I mean, hardcore on the map. There are some gems in that state, and they got, and I'd say there's probably like 6 or 7, could be 7 or 8, could even be 10 gems. Be looking, people. South Carolina, Stokes Promotions, next event, like I did. That's why I had to ask him, have him, maybe some more of the team, him, Garrick, have them on. They can talk about the next event. You know, I'm happy. I'm jacked up. Like I'm pumped up like I'm at the fight right now. Because just thinking about the energy of that has me just like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, again, people, it's your boy T-Folks, aka Johnny Quantum. You know what I'm saying? Blessing to have Andrew Stokes on Stokes Promotions. But it is that time in the evening. So I gotta do what I gotta do. Get up out of here. But until next time, people, peace.